My name is Serena Schreiber, and I'm a local historian. Today we are here at the Old First Church, originally organized as the Middletown Baptist Church in 1688. It's the final resting place of Reverend Abel Morgan Jr., a devoted minister and steadfast supporter of the Patriot cause during the American Revolution. Reverend Abel Morgan Jr. was born on April 18, 1713, in the Welsh tract of Delaware to Jane Howell and Enoch Morgan. His family had emigrated from South Wales in the early 1700s, seeking religious freedom and the opportunity to spread the Baptist faith in the American colonies. Following in the footsteps of his father, uncle, and grandfather, all respected and influential ministers, Abel Morgan Jr. was baptized in his early 20s and soon after ordained as a Baptist pastor. In 1738, he became the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Middletown. Reverend Morgan was known as a thoughtful, scholar, and dedicated leader. He possessed an extensive personal library and was respected for his sound judgment and literary knowledge. Tireless in his ministry, he often traveled long distances across New Jersey in a simple, springless cart, preaching wherever he was needed. Morgan settled near the church in Middletown, establishing a farm along the lands between Kings Highway and what is now Fairview Cemetery. His property included a large home, a cider house, wagon house, barn, and other farm buildings, a small working estate that supported both his ministry and daily life. But Reverend Morgan's role in Middletown extended beyond the pulpit. As tensions with the British government grew and the American Revolution began, Morgan became an outspoken supporter of the Patriot cause. His sermons often reflected the struggles and sacrifices of the war, reminding his congregation of the importance of faith and perseverance during uncertain times. The war came directly to Middletown in the summer of 1778. On Saturday, June 28th, the Battle of Monmouth was fought just miles away in Freehold. That very day, Reverend Morgan delivered a sermon urging his congregation to place their trust in God, even as the distant sound of cannon fire echoed across the countryside. That evening, British troops entered the area on the way to Sandy Hook, where ships awaited to take them to safety of British-held New York. In the days that followed, enemy soldiers occupied Middletown, looting homes and removing the seats from the local meeting house. The church itself was left unusable. Reverend Morgan recorded the moment in his diary, noting that the following Sunday he preached in mine own barn because the enemy had taken out all the seats in the meeting house. But even during these disruptions, his ministry continued. Throughout the war years, his sermons spoke of the suffering of the colonies, what he called a bleeding, weeping land. He preached at funerals for local men killed by British forces and even traveled to Freehold to deliver a sermon to prisoners who had been sentenced to death. His words reflected the emotional toll the war placed on families whose sons, brothers, and fathers were fighting on nearby battlefields. The congregation of the First Baptist Church also made its position clear. Church leaders formally declared their support for the American cause and condemned members who sided with the British. Some individuals who openly supported the enemy were barred from church communion, a serious disciplinary act within the congregation. Through both his sermons and his actions, Reverend Morgan stood firmly with the Patriot cause. He also contributed financially to the struggle for independence, paying the Middletown supply tax in both 1779 and 1780. These funds were used to support the American war effort. Despite his active public life, Reverend Morgan remained personally devoted to his family. He never married and spent much of his life caring for his mother, Jane, at their Middletown home. After nearly 5 decades of service to his congregation, Reverend Abel Morgan Jr. passed away on November 24, 1785. He was first buried at the nearby Presbyterian burial ground on Kings Highway, which Baptist congregants shared at the time. More than a century later, in 1888, during the 200th anniversary of the church's founding, his remains were reinterred here beside the First Baptist Church. Today, his monument stands as a reminder of a man whose life was devoted to faith, community, and the ideals of liberty. Reverend Abel Morgan Jr.'s story reminds us that the American Revolution was not only fought on battlefields, but also in churches, homes, and communities, where leaders like him helped guide their neighbors through one of the most uncertain moments in American history.